Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 89 of TheSeezusShow. Oh, man, it just feels like every single week it just gets better and better.
In the bubble.
And better and better and better in the bubble, man.
In the bubble.
I literally just came off of watching Virtuoso by Damian Lillard as well, too. But before we even get into, today's hottest topics, man, I just want to rehash with you guys episode 88. So on episode 88 of the Seezus Show, featuring Trey Day XXIV, of course, the one and only.
You heard.
Me and Trey talked about a couple things. Him being, 50% right on Billy Donovan, and Coach Bud being the co-coach of the year, the Raptors' hot start. Celtics with Tatum with a fresh cut versus not with a fresh cut. The Lakers struggling. Dame time. TJ Warren going up in the bubble looking like MJ. Ben Simmons being Ben. Race for the eighth. Players Nealon, Jonathan Isaac's injury, and much, 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 much more. So I'm just ready to get straight into it. But before we get into today's hottest topics, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, for my co-host, for my day one, that boy, that mother... Right here, Trey Day XXIV. What it do, baby?
What's up, y'all? You already know episode 89 of the Seezus Show. We are getting it off the late tip. So you already know it's about to be a fun-filled episode. We got your hottest topics in the NBA. So to our first time, last time, and all-time listeners, what's up? And buckle up for the ride. You already know. Let's get into it.
Let's get it, man. Wow. So like I said, before you got here, I'm kind of happy you actually came late, man. Because originally, at first, what I wanted to do, I wanted to record in real time the Mavericks versus Portland game. So, wow, Damian Lillard, man,
My G.
Dame time, bro. Like this guy has been going nuts. So, he just willed his team to win. He dropped 61 points tonight. 61 points tonight against the Mavericks, and it literally looked like the odds were not in their favor, and he somehow found a way to will his team. It felt like watching Allen Iverson, like vintage AI, just every single bucket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every single bucket. I'm pretty sure he's responsible for not only all the points he scored, but he assisted on every point as well, too, which was
That's crazy.
Ridiculous, man. So just credit to him, because I remember when right when they got in a bubble before the scrimmages started, I think his birthday just came, and then they had a little video when I think they were in his suite or they were in like a lobby or whatever, and he was like, yo, I don't really care about birthday presents, but basically my birthday present is for us to basically not waste our fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
because he was one of the first ones saying that he, if he wasn't going to be able to make it to the playoffs and compete for a championship, why go to the bubble?
Why go to the bubble? Yeah, you're right. And, he's been proving everyone wrong, man. I love it, man. So, first game, they beat Memphis. Then they lost to Boston, a nail biter. Then after that, they beat Houston. Then they beat Denver. They kind of messed up a little bit with the Clippers when he missed those 2 free throws. And then he bounced back, beat Philly. And like I said, tonight he beat the Dallas Mavericks as well, too. But through everything, through all these games, he's been averaging 37 points.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know what more to say. Like, this guy, if you don't respect him now, you don't have a choice, man. Like, obviously, you have the Steph Currys, the Kyries of the world who are both hurt and whatnot. Luka emerging. Sometimes whenever James Harden decides he wants to be point guard, shooting guard, whatever. But I personally, in my opinion, I believe that he is the best point guard in the NBA right now. And I'm not just the prisoner of the moment. He's been doing this shit for a couple years now, especially this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not a normal eighth seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys, if Rodney Hood won't hurt, if Davis won't hurt, all these players won't hurt, they would definitely be a top 4, top 5 seed. And they've proven that these past couple of years. So they're looking real scary going into the playoffs. And just credit to that Portland team. Just every game is literally a do or die.
Yeah.
It's actually ridiculous right now. And I believe right now with their win and Memphis lost and the Suns win, Memphis is officially, I believe, the 9th seed. The 8th seed is Portland, and the 10th seed is Phoenix.
Sheesh.
So it's Phoenix, and so right now Portland already has a chance just for a play-in.
Okay.
But if Portland wins their next game, and the Suns win the next game and Memphis loses, we're potentially, like we talked about last week, we might see Portland Trailblazers versus the Phoenix Suns. And who doesn't want to see that matchup right now? Like,
I'd
who
be a little
doesn't
bit
want to see
scared.
that matchup, man?
A little bit
But,
scared.
you know, what are your thoughts on what Dame time? Like, bruh, I didn't even show you.
What's up?
I was going to wait. I don't know if you peeped my IG story, bruh. After he won that game, son, I purchased the jersey.
I saw the jersey
I
purchase.
purchased the Dame jersey right after,
That's
son.
kinda cool.
I had to. It was on sale too for like $59.
Oh, tough.
Yeah,
I'm about to get one.
You might have to, bro. Got the red one. So shout out to Dame. But like, what are your thoughts on what Dame's been doing in the bubble and whatnot? Just speak your mind about that.
Dame is as advertised. I mean, and maybe not as advertised because Dame's not the player with the flashy, with the I'm in the gym working out and stuff like that. Dame is grown man, blue collar, go get it out the grime and keep it going. And when you see me, you see me. If not, don't worry about it. The tweet that's circulating around is Dame really not friends with nobody in the NBA. They just his coworkers. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel that on all levels.
On all levels, when you watch him play, bro, like he's just, like I said, like when I going back to what I've been stressing, it's like without the crowd, without some of the stuff, it goes back to AAU/pickup ball, bro, and you really see who got it. Like there's like an NBA level, or if you're playing with people that are above the level that the rest of the field is on, it's like, these guys are hitting every shot. It's like, oh, these guys look incredible. They're on the NBA level, and Dame's doing this kind of stuff. 61 points. 61 points. You know what I'm saying? Just willing his team to the playoffs, or at least to the playing games. And honestly, he's the most dangerous man in the room in a playing game. Like, all right, yeah, I don't see the Suns really getting it done. I mean, they have D-Book who's playing out of his mind, very Kobe-esque. Like, they have Memphis that's been that strong, consistent, that spot for a while. But honestly, it's Memphis's spot to lose. So it's like, and then you just got Dame and company who have been poised, who have been battle tested, who have been in spots where, Houston game 6 I had to Lillard, you know what I'm saying? Had to send OKC home. We'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. But he's the scariest man in the room, bro. And it's like he's the scariest man in the room that everybody has a weapon. He has no weapon, but they're still fearful of him in a way. But that's not the greatest metaphor, but he has all the tools, but he doesn't have the tools because it's like, all right, it's coming, like the boogeyman type of joint. So, man, Dame's been incredible, bro. And again, 61 points. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
They might be.
You can't guard him off a screen, off a high screen. You can't guard him off that.
Yeah.
Not when he's shooting crazy. Like anything he launches up after a screen is going in the hoop. Really. Anything.
Wow.
It's just like it's not even a play. Go set Damon's screen. All right, bet. And it's a wrap.
Yeah, he's a god, man. And this might be the scariest 8th seed since the we believe Golden State Warriors team when they upset the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
And man, I wouldn't be surprised if they happen to play Phoenix for the 8th seed to get in. I wouldn't be surprised if they played the Lakers, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised at all. But moving on from that, man.
In a scenario where they beat the Lakers, what is your what game are they going to in a scenario? Would they go to 7 games? Would it be a 6 game? Would they win a couple up front?
Well, it's interesting because they are in the bubble right now. There's no home court advantage. You don't got to worry about traveling, nothing like that. No distractions. You don't got to worry about getting your boy, your girl, your family members tickets, nothing like that. All the stress is alleviated just for a little, period of time. So I think if Portland were to upset them, because we believe it was 6 games or was it 7? I think it was 6 because home teams always play their last game at home. So they wanted 6. That's crazy. Damn, Dirk. But I would probably say, out of the respect for LeBron and AD, 7 games. 7 games, bro. Because when we're looking at it right now, it's like the Lakers have been struggling. They've been struggling a lot as well, too.
I didn't really see LeBron playing these last couple games. I mean, I guess it's a conditioning thing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really see them playing their stronger guys. But I guess they don't have much of a bench anyway. Honestly,
I mean, yeah, when you lose, I'll put it this way. To me right now, it feels like losing Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo is like losing Lou Williams and losing
Montrezl Harrell in a way.
in a way. Now I wouldn't necessarily say Montrez, but probably Lou Williams and probably Lou Williams and like a Pat Bev.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like right now.
very essential players that might not always show up on the stat sheet, but catalyze your team. And honestly, their defense is the biggest thing.
It's looking terrible.
Playing the help again, like the people that are out, them playing the help defense, them not having to force weaker defensive pieces on the Lakers team into situations that they might get themselves into. Yeah. So if you have a breakdown up front, of course you're gonna have a breakdown in the backside. So we're just seeing a total breakdown, in general from the Lakers team. I didn't know we want to get into this topic yet, but.
No, we can, man. Yeah. Keep going if you want
to. But yeah, it's just, it looks very shaky. I mean, LeBron's the best player in the league, but he looks tired at times. He looks like he's conserving energy because we know what Bron does. We know his body of work, but it looks like at times he's just letting it go. They have the 1 seed, so that's the benefit of the doubt I'll give them. We'll leverage things here. They, of course, have the 1 seed, but at the same time, it looks like the teams can get them. It's just like they're top heavy in a way, like the armor. But the armor is all up here, shoulder pads, helmet, but they get stabbed in the abdomen and it's a wrap.
No, they're really top heavy. Like I said, those are 2 pieces that they're missing right now. So in the playoffs, you're gonna have to stagger AD and Bron. Like one of them cannot lead the floor unless they get in foul trouble or something like that. Like one of them has to be on the floor at all times, which sucks because
that axes for a lot.
You got a team like the Clippers, who you can afford to rest Kawhi and PG because literally your second unit could be a potential starting 5 in the NBA as well too.
Facts.
So they're gonna LeBron and AD got a lot of work cut out for him. Like I know what LeBron's gonna do.
Yeah,
I know he's gonna do. Like his resume is too big for him not to average 38 and 10. You know what I'm saying, for an entire series, for an entire playoff run as well too. AD obviously top 5 talent. I don't like how in the bubble, he'll go stupid one game and then the next game attempt 6-7 shots. Like I need that consistency as well too. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to get these other players incorporated.
I think
they're comfortable with the 1 seed. I don't know what it is, but he needs to stay aggressive from the jump because if they're both not clicking together, kind of like the Golden State Cavs series from a couple years ago, games 5 through 7. Then it's a wrap. It's a wrap, bro. And their defense has been looking terrible. And part of it is because of Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley being gone, you said.
They're the front door.
So it's damn, I saw them last night play against the second string. They were struggling against the second string of the Nuggets. Yeah. They weren't even supposed to win that game. Shout out to Kuzma, though.
Yeah.
But it's you have those 2 right there. Do you trust Danny Green to knock down those threes? Do you trust Kyle Kuzma to actually come into his own, being a third option? Do you trust KCP? Do you trust Deion Waiters? Do you trust J.R. Smith? These are a lot of what-if motherfuckers right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what's going to get the Lakers over the hump? If they play it like this. If they play it not, put your foot on their neck and finish the job and just have no mercy. Because I don't think they're as strong as they were. We've just agreed that they're not as strong as they were to do the no mercy thing. Mm-hmm. So I think what's going to happen possibly, I mean, we've seen it in these games, but it's going to be very situational basketball if they face a team that might not be up to their caliber of go all out. So say that Portland doesn't get in and they're playing the Grizzlies. They're going to be conserving a little bit of energy for those teams where they're going to have to go all out for. And it's going to come down to, like we saw last night, Frank Vogel calling the play and putting his players in the right spot. And, that last few minutes of the fourth quarter, LeBron, AD, and company who are there to knock down shots to get it done. I just don't see a end-all, be-all, absolute kind of thing happen. I think it's going to be cat, mouse, cat, mouse, cat, mouse. All right, we've made it here. We're in striking distance. Let's strike. Let's be the player and the team that we know we can be in this last few minutes because we've already saved this energy and it's going to help. We're not, showing all our weapons at once in a way. But again, talking about that bad man in Portland, if they see him the first round, with no guards for real, and you having to chase having 35-year-old LeBron James. You know, you got to put some respect on the King's name, but you're having 35 LeBron James either on the perimeter and vice versa, and this, that, and the third. It's gonna be a very interesting day, and they're gonna be screening him high. So who knows who's gonna be the other person they're screening him with? It might be a JaVale McGee, or it might be a AD who's a damn good defender. But it might. What if they bring JaVale Gee's man up every time, and Dame's going downhill, and they got a McCollum up in the corner to shoot, and you know, and so on and so forth. It's gonna be a longer night than they wanted to be. If not, they might get a jump on them, and they could be down like we saw a lot in this Nuggets game. So, man, it's a tough one, bro. So maybe they're holding some stuff back that we're waiting to see.
Gotta be. They have to be.
Just have to be. But again,
I don't know, because at the same time, it's like
I'm concerned.
You can say they're holding stuff back because they got the number one seed and everything, but it's like these are the times where you need to be playing your best brand of basketball, because we don't have the luxury of finishing the regular season. We got 8 games, and then we're going straight to the playoffs. So you got to build these great habits, because
there's no home court either.
There's no home court, bro. And even LeBron's already saying it's different times right now. It's weird playing in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to having fans with me. I get that, but it's like everybody else in the bubble too, bro.
Yeah.
So y'all got to figure some stuff out right now, because it's not looking good, man. And it's crazy, like you said, like, while they were fully healthy, like, they were one of the top defensive teams. Now they're looking terrible on defense.
It looks like yikes.
And you think with no fans there, the communication will be at an all-time high. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little concerned, but then, like I said, they could be holding back. They have the number one seed. Maybe they just waiting, and it's kind of like it's the LeBron James effect too.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Ever since he came back from Cleveland, there's always some shit that happens, and then once the playoffs start,
it's a different story.
We forget. So
yeah,
he's definitely giving an Oscar-worthy performance right now, and we're gonna see how it goes, because they got one more game, I think, against the Kings on Thursday. So we'll see how they pan out, man. We'll definitely see how they pan out. But Laker fans, I would be worried a little bit. I know a couple episodes ago when the season started, or we were in the bubble, we were like, I'll be a little concerned right now, because you go through potentially Portland, who's a high energy, true West Coast team, and then you have to go through Houston more than likely, and then after that you got to go through the Clippers most likely, and then after that you got to see the Greek Freak most likely. So, hey man, if Bron can do that joint, man, that would be crazy. That would definitely be crazy, but we'll see what happens moving forward as well too. Now back to Dame Dollar. You know, he called. He was all over social media, Twitter, IG, Facebook, every other website you can think of, hot new hip hop, everything. They played against the Clippers a couple nights ago, and I think it was a back-to-back, so Kawhi didn't play. And it was basically just PG and everybody else hooping. Obviously, Beverly's out, and Montrezl Harrell, which we'll talk about a little bit later, was outside of the bubble. But in the fourth quarter, PG got rested, and Dame essentially was. I mean, that whole game, like, players were going at it, like Trent Williams or whatever his name was going at it with PG. PG was going back with it. Dame was, talking shit to or barking back rather at the Clippers bench as well too. So it was pretty heated. It was pretty heated, and for most people, you can basically hear what they're saying since there's no fans as well too. But it was wild, because towards the end of the game, it felt like the Clippers damn near wanted to give Portland this win, because in their head they're probably like, "Yo, like, we wouldn't mind if y'all tire out the Lakers, even if y'all don't win in that series, like, y'all can tire them out. Like, that's a bad matchup for Brown and Lakers right now." And to have PG basically play on the bench, and for Dame to be unlike Dame and miss those 2 straight free throws is kind of crazy. So after that, I believe Pat Bev started mocking him and kept putting his hand up saying Dame time, Dame time, Dame time, Dame time. And then after that, I think they were just wilding on the bench. So after the game, basically, Dame, let me see if I can find this exact quote right here. He said right here, that just shows what they expect from me down the stretch. Lillard told reporters when asked for his response. They know what I do. Pat saw it firsthand when I was a second-year player and he was in Houston. I'm sure he has a great memory of that. With 18.6 seconds left in the game, Lillard went to the free throw line with the Blazers trailing 118-117. Uncharacteristically, he failed to make the attempt, and the Blazers went to lose to the Clippers, obviously. So he said that, and then he said with PG, basically, I sent him home last year. So he said, basically, it's just a sign of respect. And it shows what I've done at a high clip more times than not. I'm not offended by it as well, too.
Yeah.
So after that, it got a little crazy. And I think on social media, if I can find it right here, let me see. So Paul George had commented on some post, and he said, I think first, where is it at? What did Bev say? Oh, 1, 2, 3, Cancun on 3 or something like that. And after that, Paul George was like, and you getting sent home this year, respect. And then Dan came back and said, keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. And then he also went on to say, where else he say? I can't remember what he said after that, but he said something else as well, too. So it was kind of crazy because, like, Damian Lillard's sister got involved as well, too, and him and Paul George, baby mama, were going back and forth as well too. So I was just like, yo, like it's kind of going too far. But we kind of need this trash talk back and forth because the league's got a little soft as well too. But I feel like if you're not a part of the game and you're an affiliate with them, there's really no need to speak on it. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to defend, your homeboy and whatnot. But it was pretty interesting because what I love about Dame is he's always been very even keeled, very calm, cool, and collected.
Yep.
And what I like about him as well too, he like I say, he really don't get fazed by anything. He's the type of dude who's like, I'm gonna play by the beat of my drum. If you want to attack me, then I'm gonna attack back. But for the most part, I'm gonna keep it in.
Yeah.
So I love how he handled himself, and his fire back was definitely an all-time high. There was some people on social media basically saying like, yo, whoever, because he has the presidential suite, he was like, yo, who's ever next to this dude, they're probably going to be up all night because they ain't probably going crazy with the bars right now. Like, I know he got something cooked up, but apparently Paul George came today and they kind of like squashed their beef or whatever dispute they had as well too. But it was kind of like weak because like I fuck with Paul George and Pat Bev a lot. I mean, with Pat Bev, that's kind of his identity to get under people's skin. Yeah. So I get that. But with PG, I felt like there was really no need for him to, basically go at him like that as well, too. When Dane was right, you did get sent home by him as well, too. So, I mean, with me, it's just like if someone's not starting something with you, then there's no point in you starting something with them. But what are your thoughts on the whole little beef that they had or whatever?
Let's start here. Let's see. Yeah, let's start here. NBA championships, both have 0. NBA seasons, I mean, we're not even going to go into that. Let's see. All-Star games, Paul George 6, Dame 5, but Paul George was in the league before Dame, so that's understandable. First team All-NBA, both have that. All NBA teams, Paul George has one more than Dame, but again, Dame came in the league after Paul. Let's see, all defensive teams, Paul George has been there. Of course, and we also see the bad fruits of that because we've seen Paul George get the game winner hit in his face plenty of times. But, I mean, if you're going to play good defense, sometimes you're going to get scored on in big fashions because you're playing very good defense. Steals leader, Paul George. Rookie of the year, Dame Lillard. Okay. Points per game, Dame's got him beat out. Rebounds per game, Paul George, of course, you would think playing the bigger role as far as, height-wise and position-wise. Yeah. Assists per game, got to give it a Dame. Steals per game, Paul George. Big defensive blocks per game, they're pretty similar. Points in career, Dame has him beat by about 2,000 points.
Granted, PG did get injured.
He did get injured, yes, he did get injured. Total rebounds, we won't even worry about that too much.
Basically, their careers stacked to one another.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're very similar in game. Mm-hmm. But if we go back into the drama-esqueness, for me,
For you.
opinionated and respected both sides, but it's a nasty feeling. Of course, when it gets sent home by somebody, it hurts you in your soul.
And what's funny, sorry for cutting you off, bro. Someone made a video compilation. I think Paul George in the history of the NBA has the most game winners ever on him. And it's crazy because he's one of the best defenders. And, like, if you look at all these plays, he's up in their grill.
Amazing defense. Great, better shots.
But,
I mean, you have to look at all the times that he was doing the same thing and it wasn't, they didn't hit the shot. So, it's duality to that. But, yeah, so it hurts to get sent home, in Houston, in OKC, right? In OKC. So, I mean, there's feelings there. You know what I'm saying? It's a breakup, and
literally, it's a breakup.
She got the better of you, dog. That's all that happened. And then, you see her on Instagram, and she's sad about the dude that she left you for, that wasn't this, that, and the third. And you know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, look at this. Look at this. It's wild, right? She was all good just a week ago. You know what I'm saying? She did me wrong. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you get with your boy, who might know her a little bit too, and it's like, all right, this, we can both laugh at this. But there's that feeling, because you want her back. You want to be where she is. You know what I'm saying? But you're not there, and that's what hurts. And the biggest thing that Dame said, the realest I think that he said was, they know what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? They know my work. They know that I'm expected to hit those. So they were just excited and giggity that I missed them. They were having a field day. And it looked kind of nasty over there. Them high-fiving and hugging, and, you know what I'm saying, and crying. You know what I'm saying? Crying tears of joy because they missed those shots. And, you know what I'm saying? And, woo, you know what I'm saying? And Square Biz, who's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, all the 80s jams and shit. Today missing 2 free throws. Meanwhile, he sent both of them home. And it looks even worse that he sent both of them home in 2 separate occasions. So it's like, you know what? I'm hurt because of this thing. You're hurt because of this thing. We're going to take 2 L's and make them a bigger L. What's L squared? You know what I'm saying? So that's my long metaphorical rant just to get back into just to get back into that. They're low-key terrified of Dame Lillard. You know what I'm saying? His body of work speaks for itself. These are 2 people that he's beat so handily, and him going at Paul George's pride in a way, and his grind and his work ethic in a way is very indicative to who Dame is. It's like, if I can't do it myself, I'm not gonna do it. Meanwhile, you're going from team to team, to market, to boom, 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 this, that, and the third, to find a win. And we're both in the same position. We both don't have any NBA championships, but I'm hitting game winners on you. I can walk on my own 2 feet, And you have to go home, and this is playing basketball every day. This is life every day. You have to go home. You have to sleep at night. You have to close your eyes and say, hey, it was a good day. It was a bad day. It was a mediocre day. This, that, and the third. And Paul George has to go home and live with the fact that maybe what James, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, or, who has leverage over who, but if there's even like it's just an inkling, like a thought of, damn, you know what, he might be right, it's going to mess with you. And if they see them in the playoffs, or if they see them again, that's going to be in your head. You know what I'm saying? The real will prevail no matter what. No matter what side's real, no matter what, but the real will prevail. It'll come to the surface. And next time, if Dame's at half court, boom, boom, boom. PG's playing that all-league defense he always plays, and he just hears, boom. You got to bounce from team to team just to get a win. And Dame launches that ball, and it goes in. You know what I'm saying? That just that little piece of it. So that's my spill on Dame versus Paul George. I'm glad they pieced it up. But at the end of the day, competition is competition. And, luck favors the aggressor, and it just seems like Dame is the aggressor because he's out there in the wild at all times. He doesn't have people watching his back. He has to be in that beast mode, that look over his shoulder mode all the time, because he doesn't have anybody that's number two to him. He has CJ, who's an amazing player, but CJ's not Kawhi Leonard. CJ's not Russell Westbrook. So. More to come on this, Dame. I think Dame's gonna sneak into that 8th seed, and if they somehow, some way upset the Lakers, the league is really, really, really interesting.
Yeah, and to play, not even to play, and just to speak on PG's behalf, and then going back to Dame as well too.
Please do.
PG was in that market, and he did get traded. Obviously, he demanded that trade, so that did kind of show that he wanted to basically give up on the team. And then he also got traded again as well too. It's not like he was a free agent and left over there, but at the same time, it's like,
when you demand to be traded, you're a free agent.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
I digress.
But yeah, but with that being said, it's like, okay, if we're looking at history, only big market teams thrive. Obviously, loyalty is everything, right?
Of course.
Loyalty is everything. But at what point in time are you cool with that? At what point in time, knowing that you're a small market team, the chances of you winning a championship is basically slim to none. Let's look from 2000 up until now. Aside from the Spurs, who got lucky, David Robinson goes down. They get Tim Duncan as a number 1 pick, and then they happen to draft perfectly and get Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, and you literally keep those pieces in the match. Then after that, who you got? The Lakers, Detroit,
Spurs, Warriors,
Lakers, Warriors,
Celtics,
Heat. You know what I'm saying? And after that, it's Cavs, but it's Bron, and who he bring there? Forcefully, he was the GM. He brought Kyrie. And
Cavs are an anomaly. I can't even count
exactly. Besides that, Dallas, like what big market team has won? So the chances are in his favor. So do you see down the line that Dame actually is like, damn, like I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish, but now the only thing that's on my eyes while I'm still in my prime, just turned 30, is I want to get a championship. Do you see him actually finishing his career with Portland and trying to do everything he can? Or do you see him one day saying, you know what, I've given you guys my blood, sweat, and tears. I've taken you to the playoffs every single year, but for my personal peace of mind, I want to be able to at least test what's out there, be happy, and try to compete for a championship.
Of course. Only because at that point, it's a respect thing. It's I put the work in. You can't say anything about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I built this house. Y'all knocked it down. I built it again and again and again and again. Now let me go somewhere I don't have to build the house. I can just tend to the needs of the house and the people in the house. You know what I'm saying? Which would either furthermore excel what I'm doing and catapult what I'm doing. I think every NBA player that has that mindset that Dame has comes to that point in their career. And I think it falls back to a deeper conversation on the league to find some way, and Adam Silver hasn't touched this yet, because I think that money talks, and the money is in those big market teams. It takes PR, it takes a lot of money to go towards saying, hey, we need to big up these smaller markets. And who knows if Adam Silver wants to be the commissioner to take on that beast, because the league is thriving even with these smaller market teams, not per se coming to a head, and it's those smaller market teams in the finals year after year after year after year. The big market sell. So it's a deeper conversation to be had. But to going back to Dame, you can't blame him if and when the time comes, because at the end of the day, the old men that have retired from basketball are gonna talk, and it's hard for a player that didn't complete for a championship, hasn't been to the finals, and doesn't have any rings to be mentioned in those talks. And you can have all the respect on your name, whenever, but if you're a competitor and you want to get over the hump and you want to be engaged in the legacy, you're going to want to be either competing for the title or have a title to your name, because that just gets you in the room to be talked about over and over and over again, to be referenced over and over and over again. So I think it's gonna hit Dame's mind, being the universal competitor that he is, sooner or later. So 31, 32, whenever he decides, he's like, yo, I don't know if they've done enough for me to actually win a championship. Let me go look over here, which might be the Lakers, which might be, another team that could use his services. So we'll see.
Can you imagine him with Giannis? That's literally all they missing right there, literally. But yeah, I mean, Portland to for what they have to work with. I mean, they've been trying.
They've been very good too.
They got Rodney Hood. They got Davis. They got what's his name, Mo Harkless. They ended up getting Melo as well too. So they've been trying to stay competitive as well too, because they're like, yo, if we have our big three in Nurkic and CJ and Dame, then we just have to put the supporting cast around us. So I think they've been doing a great job. It's just kind of unfortunate that Nurk's been banged up this past couple of years, and they just had basically the injury bug in general. But I mean, last year with what they had, they got through the West and got to the conference finals. Obviously, in the conference finals, they got swept to the Warriors without KD. But every game it could have went either way. You know what I'm saying? So they could have ended up in the finals as well too. And who knows what would have happened? So at the end of the day, it's on him. If rings aren't everything to him, then by all means, stay in Portland, because they're gonna have you. Unless you get a major injury, that's the only scenario I see where they trade him. But I don't see them.
And he's been sturdy. He's 30 years old and hasn't had a hard energy, within his whole career.
For sure.
So and as well as, again, the real basketball heads are gonna respect them. We're gonna respect them, but it's a universal thing. It's like getting everybody to acknowledge you, and I think that's gonna eat away at him when it's time to decide if I stay here or I go and try to compete. For those maybe 4 or 5 years that will be very prime to his career towards the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on from that, man. Yesterday, obviously, the pandemic's going on, and one thing I miss so much about the pandemic, before COVID,
BC
is going to the movie theaters, man. When I go to movie theaters, I'm with a shorty, you know what I'm saying? I be like, yo, you got your purse, you got your bag, get all the snacks. I'm gonna get the popcorn, and we just gonna, get your snacks and get the water bottle. So yesterday, I grabbed my popcorn, I put the TV on, got the big screen, and it's TJ Warren versus Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? So while TJ Bubble's been, if they have awards, and I'm hearing rumors that they're gonna have awards for like Bubble Awards for like most like the best team and the most valuable player.
Superlatives.
If there was a superlative for MVP of the bubble, you can very much argue that it's TJ Warren. Yeah. Because before the Miami game in the bubble, he averaged 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists, and almost 2 steals, and almost 1 block. Shooting 89% from the free throw line and 56% from 3, and 60% from the field, which is ridiculous. Like, if you would have told me TJ Warren would be doing this right now, I'd be like, you lying right now. So obviously, we already know about the passes. We talked about it before episodes ago in the pod when we're saying, yo, this TJ Warren versus Jimmy beef is going to be lit. We can't wait till they have another, match. And, it's crazy because Jimmy Butler has been battling like a sore foot / ankle injury for the past couple games. And they played yesterday. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to tune into – I'm either going to start it from the jump, which I did for like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm going to play COD for a little bit, and then when it's the second half, because I know it's going to be hot. Most games in the bubble have been pretty hot. Yeah. I'm going to wait till the second half or the fourth quarter and really tune in and see what it was. But from the jump, from what I saw, Jimmy Butler essentially guarded him from the jump. And like I told you, he averaged 35 points in the bubble before that game. During that game, by the end of the game, Miami Heat won 114-92. TJ Warren had 12 points.
Sheesh.
And was 5 of 14 from the field. And Jimmy Butler got the best of him. 19 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals right there, too.
Flashing lights.
So I don't know if this was a Space Jam scenario where all the powers have been gone, but
Mike scenario?
or like Mike with the shoes, bro. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Jimmy has a psychological edge over him, but do you think that the TJ Warren myth is pretty much wrapped up now? Do you think he goes back to earth with this L that he took? A mean L, actually.
I think it's hard.
And sorry for cutting you off.
You good?
If the playoffs were to start today, the Miami Heat is the 4th seed and Indiana is the 5th seed. So we get to see a 7-game series for that. So that'll be interesting to see. But what do you think with the whole TJ Warren, Jimmy Butler beef? And like I asked you before, do you think that the powers, the myth is officially gone? Was this just BS?
I don't think it's BS. It's not easy to be that consistent over that many games, I mean, it is a little bit, and I'll give it a chance. Not chance, but I'll give it to probability. It is a little bit more likely that you see somebody that you got into it with a past and you just don't have a good outing against them. You see a rival and they get the best of you this time. Because I think TJ Warren fared a little bit better in that first dispute. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe he didn't do crazy at all. That's why they got into it, But yeah, I mean, you look at Jimmy Butler. His whole, I'm not gonna say his persona because his actual person is real chill, real cool. But Jimmy, at the heart of it, looking at some stuff. Jimmy, there's been the rumors, or not even the rumors, but just the analyzation that Jimmy doesn't do one thing super crazy well, but he is a competitor, he's an athlete, and he can do everything you need him to do. So Jimmy being a complete basketball player in that way is just it's hard to contain. And when it comes to it, guys like that who are just crazy athletes put their mind to something, it's tough to go against them. They can be kryptonites to people that are wrecking the league, maybe via skill or maybe kind of via breakout. So TJ Warren has picked out a very interesting rival, and so has Jimmy Butler. When we see TJ Warren on a different playing field, not playing against Jimmy Butler. So I don't think, I don't think that it's just by a chance that he's doing those things. I think he has it in him. I think that, the different venue is bringing more out of him. But also I think that he feels a little bit of the regular NBA and, the regular scenario with the pressure that Jimmy brings to him and that rivalry. And I think it's in the back of his head as well. So I'm hoping that we get the 4-5, like you said, the 4-5 matchup. That'll be a telltale sign. So for me, more to come. I think what TJ's been doing in the bubble has been phenomenal, very close to what Devin Booker's been doing. But we'll see what happens. Shout out Jimmy, shout out TJ.
Obviously, Sabonis is hurt right now, but like I said, no fans. They're in the bubble, yada yada yada. If the playoffs were to start today and they played each other, who you got winning how many games?
I got Heat in 6.
Yeah, I literally said Heat in 6 too. Okay, cool. I rock with that. Moving on, man. It's crazy, man. We've been talking about this guy almost like every week, bro. The boy who cried wolf. Ben Simmons, man.
Yikes.
So it was kind of a weird freak accident. I can't really recall how this man got hurt. I think he was actually going to be attempting a 3-point shot as well, too. Yo, why you look at me like that, man? I wish I found that show. It's not even funny, bro. I swear he was going for a 3-pointer though. Like, can we find a video? I wish we can find that joint. Does he got that joint? No, he don't got that joint. It's just some sports medicine.
He hurt himself going for a 3-pointer.
Anyways, I think he hurt himself going for
Nah, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
I can't even finish, yo. I think Ben Simmons I think he hurt himself potentially going for a 3-pointer.
I'm not gonna look at you. Go ahead. And we kept telling him to shoot. It's our fault. It's our fault he's hurt, Sewell.
I was about to say that. I was like, yo, dude,
We kept telling him to shoot. It must.
He's like, nah, bro, nah. Then he finally decides to shoot.
He had a reason not to shoot.
And he left the game, and he hurt his left knee. So he's having surgery to remove a loose body.
Which is like, what, a loose kneecap?
Loose kneecap, essentially, which is crazy, bro.
I love the girls with the loose bodies.
Yeah, so he's going to have arthroscopic.
You like a loose body, too. Stop fronting. You know you like a loose body.
Oh, man.
You be all up in their DMs.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No comment. So Ben Simmons of the 76ers will have an arthroscopic surgery on his left knee to remove a loose body caused by a patella or kneecap subluxation. Suffered in a game against the Wizards, actually.
Yes. Get well soon, Ben Simmons.
The patella normally rides in the groove of the femur called the trochlea. Sorry for my, people who specialize in body parts, doctors and all that shit. And it's stabilized by the quadriceps muscles, primarily the vastus. I don't even know how to read all this. Basically, this dude got hurt. He's more than likely not coming back to the bubble. And Joel Embiid just hurt his ankle. Now, it seems like Joel Embiid, when he hurt his ankle, he was able to essentially walk on his own will. It didn't seem like it was a little gingerly, but I feels like it's probably going to clear up within a week as well, too. It's crazy. We kept, for the past year, honestly, not even us, just everyone is saying, like, yo, like, can Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid coexist? Who would you rather have, Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? Now, like, Elton Brand has basically ran the table. He tried to get Jimmy Butler last year. Jimmy Butler decides to leave. They get rid of J.J. Redick. They re-sign Tobias Harris to a cool amount of money. Mm-hmm. And then knowing that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid really don't complement each other on the court as far as spacing goes, they try to get Al Horford. So now it's like, all right, we're running the table. The process is over. This is what we got. Going into the season, we thought they were the prohibitive favorite. Seeing them in the season, we're like, yo, this does not work as well. End up putting Ben Simmons at the 4, Al Horford going to the bench, investing in Shake Milton, and they're like, yo, this is what we're going to run, and we're going to be successful. You call them your dark horse. Clearly, you got to take that shit back because they're not the dark horse anymore. But my thing is now is like, right now, the playoffs were to end. They would play the Celtics right now. And, I mean, Joel Embiid will probably give you 30 to 40 a night. But at the end of the day, you don't have Ben Simmons. Like, the Celtics have too much firepower. So my question to you is this the end of the trust the process era? And then what do you do from here? Do you get rid of the GM? As the GM, do you get rid of Brett Brown? Do you think about, having to flip a coin and see, hey, do I want to keep either Joel Embiid here and get some assets for Ben Simmons, vice versa, or do you just ride the coattails and see what happens? Because they're basically a once-in-a-lifetime type of, generational talent, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to necessarily prematurely break that up, but at the same time, it's like, yo, we're kind of, what are we fighting for?
Yeah.
If we're going to stay at the same level each time. So what are your thoughts on all that?
You got to break it up. It just, from a feeling standpoint, for one, we had our heart broken last year with Toronto. We don't even make it to the point we want to make it to this year in the playoffs. It's unfortunate because it's injury. It's why we're not. The injury is the reason why we're not getting there. But you look at the past years and so on and so forth. Even with the health, it's been health a lot, and then now we're here at this junction. I think just like if you don't reinvent the wheel, you follow the wheel that is working, and kind of similar to Toronto. Shake some things up, get some new faces in there, get a new outlook, get something that's going to really work for this team. If you keep the players cool, but you give it maybe 1 year with the players, but you go ahead and get new management and so on and so forth, so we can maybe get over the hump. We can sit in this. I mean, it's exciting, but it's only exciting because we're not winning championships, and that's the level we're on. We're a level under not winning championships. And that's what's going to hurt because it's false hope over and over again. But, you got a team like Toronto that still looks good after losing their star player. I don't think you can argue against that case study, and then you have the Celtics that young coached, younger star players. I mean, not saying that Philly isn't young, and I'm not saying shake the whole team up, but there has to be a little bit of a different outlook. We have to have a promise and a new variable in the season because I'm not going to trust this again. Because even still, they don't look like the best team coming out the East. They were a dark horse for a reason because, it's a curveball if they do make it out. So right now, it's Toronto, Celtics, Heat, top three. In a way, and then you go from there. So that's how it goes for me. Dang, I am so sick. I blinked. I'm sick. I'm so sick. It's Toronto, Bucks, Celtics, Heat. I'm super sick. But yeah, I haven't seen a Giannis game in a minute. Did they stop playing? Did he even? Did they not get national television time as a small market team, even in the bubble? That's pretty sick. They're like, nah, don't show the Bucks. But yeah, so Toronto, Bucks, Celtics, Heat after that, and Heat honestly is way further down the list. But yeah, that's what it is for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to add on to that, I think at this point in time, if I'm the GM, I'm breaking it up as well, too. Now, the question is, who do I get rid of?
Yeah.
Who do you get rid of? I might. It's crazy because it's like in the past, you would say I'm keeping Ben Simmons because he's more durable. But this year, he's been pretty banged up with the shoulder, with the back, now his knee. Obviously, Joel Embiid missed the whole season his first year as well, too, and has had knick-knack injuries. Hasn't been able to play back-to-back games. Probably will never play back-to-back games. Well, I think he's been playing a couple back-to-back games, but it seems like he can never fully be in shape when it matters most, from what the math says as well, too. So what do you do? Do you take the Giannis formula and you just surround him with a two-way type of playmaker with shooters everywhere, or do you kind of kind of build your team like a Denver Nuggets sort of with, the big man leading the way in the Jokic, but with Embiid? I think you can get more back from Ben Simmons because he's younger and has a higher upside.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It hurts, though, because I feel like with just anything, Embiid is going to go, he gets off here, but he's going to go somewhere else and go ridiculous. It's going to be nasty. Granted, you might save yourself from trading him out of conference, or you might save yourself from trading him to a non-contender. But I just don't think it's set up for Embiid to not be on a possibly contending team. And it's going to be hard for him to land anywhere lower in a way. So, but again, my thoughts right now is I would go with Ben and go to the NBA hybrid style of basketball. You find somebody that can still play that. Maybe somebody off the bench that can play the traditional center role, but somebody that is in a starting lineup that is that stretch that you kind of playing a little bit more of a small ball, relying on your shooting, your speed, your quickness, because that is Ben Simmons in a way. Maybe grab a shooting four or grab just somebody that can spread the floor a little bit more, and somebody that is very well in transition, because I feel like this team could be very good in transition, and they kind of are pretty good in transition. So you break that up like that, but it's just, you're going to get torched by Embiid by sending him away. It's a tough one, but I would have to get rid of Embiid right now with this second.
Yeah, I feel that. Could you imagine a hypothetical where, this is a little stretch, but can you imagine a hypothetical where Chris Paul still gets traded to OKC, and they put Chris Paul with Shai in a package deal for Ben Simmons, and they keep Jimmy Butler in Philly? That would have been OD. But that's just a hypothetical in my head.
You think Chris Paul's going to get bounced around again?
I think Sam Presti would want to keep him at this point.
Yeah.
And that contract's pretty huge, but he kind of proved with his age that he's worth that money well, too, on the championship contending team. It's just, obviously, he's one of the best point guards still to this day, but it's just like, with all these contending teams, they are kind of pretty much already have point guards already, so it's like, do I want to take this gamble knowing his injury history and knowing that he's going to take up $40 million a year on that salary cap?
Nice.
So I don't know. Like I said, anybody can go play with Giannis at this point. But other than that, I mean, every team that we listed has a star point guard that they want to invest in who's cheaper. So he's going to stay there, I think. And OKC's going to be a tough out. Like I said, that's my dark horse, and your dark horse is Philly. And you're going to have to change that.
I have to change it, honestly.
Cool. So obviously we briefly talked about Phoenix, but I mean, I just want to give them some shout out for being the only team in the bubble that's undefeated. They're 7-0 right now. They beat the Wizards. They beat the Mavericks. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Heat. They beat the Thunder. They beat the 76ers. They beat every game that they played was a playoff team aside from the Wizards, and they won all those games pretty convincingly. And I just want to give credit to Devin Booker. The other day I saw him play against PG and Kawhi and pulled a Mamba move out. I don't know if Mamba is just looking from above, and every game he's just deciding to spread his Mamba mentality onto a player who's idolizing him. But Devin Booker, man, he's looking great. What are your thoughts with the Suns? Like, it's funny because when we were talking about the team, like the 22 or 23 or whatever teams that are like coming to the bubble for Orlando, when I heard about the Suns and these low-tier teams, I just scoffed at the Suns. I was like, yo, y'all started off like 3-0 in the regular season. Y'all just kept losing, bro. Yeah. Like, obviously, DeAndre Ayton missed a couple of games as well, too. But I was just like, yo, y'all just not ready. The West too stacked as well, too. Like, what are y'all doing? But honestly, if you would have told me they would have won 7-0, I wouldn't have believed you as well. But any thoughts on Devin Booker and the Suns and what they're doing?
Kobe-esque, again, spirit of Kobe. Devin Booker's been a killer from the start, bro. And it's crazy because I still think about like Kentucky, bro. He was coming off the bench at Kentucky, which is not even ludicrous, but it just speaks to the talent that Kentucky had, and it speaks to his work ethic. Like how you come off the bench at a major program. Which, I mean, I guess it's like, yo, I'm still around pretty good players, and I'm around the best bump I'm going to get in the country. But keeping your head on straight, because most people are like, fuck this, I'm going to the next school, stuff like that. Devin Booker was like, yo, I'm the man, stuff like that. Got drafted, and might have been, and forgive me, because I don't know who all he was at Kentucky with. I can't remember. But honestly, right now, been the best prospect out of Kentucky in his, like, his class of Kentucky. So Devin Booker's a freaking killer, bro. The move, the turnaround jump shot he hit, was that on PG? Your Honor, I'm done. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. And it's crazy because even, diving a little bit deeper into Devin Booker as well, too. Obviously, he's you would think Phoenix is a pretty solid, little market. They had their share of success with the Barkley era. Obviously, Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and whatnot. But Draymond Green was a part of the, NBA on TNT crew.
Amazing. He did amazing.
The NBA did a great job, phenomenal job. Honestly, everyone who comes up there, the D-Ways of the world, Vince Carter and all them, like, y'all stay there. Like, I like the old mixed with the young, perfect mesh. Can't go wrong with that. Literally, I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I think it was last night because the Lakers played. I literally stayed up almost till 1 o'clock watching these guys just geek at each other. But anyways, Draymond Green got fined, I believe, $50,000 because he was considered tampering. So basically, he said, "Get my man." He's referring to Devin Booker. Get my man out of Phoenix. It's not good for him. It's not good for his career. I need my man to go somewhere where he can play great basketball all the time and win, because he's that type of player as well too. So obviously, like we talked about a little bit earlier on in the show, is that with Devin Booker, with small market teams rather, they're not meant to really win as well too. But it seems like, at least from this small sample size, that they are finally, with Monty Williams as coach, finally figuring out a way to start competing as well too. Devin Booker's pretty young. He's only been in the league for 4 years. He's 23 years old, and he just signed a massive deal. So he's booked with them until the 2023-24 season as well too. So he's kind of in that AD situation where it's by the time he's a free agent again, he's going to be 27 years old, basically
wow.
just hitting his prime, which is ridiculous.
He sounded
as
crazy,
well.
dude.
Crazy deal. So do you agree with Draymond Green? He's wasting his time here.
From history of the market, yeah. I mean, yeah, that as simple as that. From just the history of what has been, again, we just talked about small markets and this, that, and the third. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get a championship like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that the NBA is all championships, but like I went to earlier, to be mentioned with the greats, you have to have championships. And I mean, Kobe was with Shaq, the once in a lifetime player, the best big man to ever played the game, but still, he is given reverence because he stayed in that market. He didn't go anywhere. He let people come to him, but also it was a huge market. He was in a big market team. We've never seen that happen with a smaller market team, and if we have, it's evading me, where they get the pieces that come to them, they get some big players, and it works out. But we just don't see that happen.
No, not at all. Yeah. For now, like I said, that's typically how it goes. You get drafted to a team, and then you re-up. You're more likely a restricted free agent. So any other team that tries to offer you, the team that you're on will match that offer, or what they try to do with your agent wants to get money real quick. So before your rookie contract is even up, they try to re-up you. And it works out for the team because they kind of get a discount on your ass as well, too. So,
Yeah.
At this point, let him, because I think right now he has the most 30-point games for the Suns franchise in general. I thought it would be Charles Barkley, but apparently not. At this point, what I'm saying, it seems like you guys are onto something. You guys are going to continue to get good draft picks. Maybe you can get a top-tier free agent, but a mid-tier type of player or tier 2, tier 3 type of player that would be a missing piece. But I think they're headed in the right direction. And like I said, they got them until 2023-24 season. So, just try to see what you can do with them. If it don't work out, then pull the AD and request a trade because you're going to be 27. And
that's late.
His game is not based on athleticism. So he can play in the league probably till he's 35, 36, to be honest. So he'll be fine. And I think he's going to end up with a ring regardless. But a little dream scenario in my head was like, I really, really wish he could link up with Porzingis and Luka. That would be insane. Defense would be washed, but that would be insane as well, too. I want to give major props to the baby-faced assassin, Steph Curry.
That's
apparently, just like MJ, Under Armour is going to give him his own brand, which is crazy as well, too. So,
what's his logo going to look like? Is there his own logo?
I don't know. They were talking about at least with the logo as well, too. I was just thinking, like, what could it possibly be? Because Jordan, during his time, he was that guy who we thought could fly. He was basically like Jesus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was known for him being in the air, Air Jordan. When you look at his shoe, he's literally extending his arms out and trying to dunk the ball. Well, Steph Curry, obviously, he's the non-traditional superstar that you expect, the everyday, person that you see on the street. Obviously, he's, not the average height, but the average height in the NBA is 6'7".
Yeah.
He's 6'3". Most people about 210, 215. He about $180, $190.
He's the average man. He's Captain America.
He's literally Captain America as well, too. So there's been leaks. They're saying that this may be it.
It's pretty ugly.
That's just kind of washed. But I like the logo a little bit. It's incorporating the basketball sign, and at the same time, it's kind of like the 3-point sign a little bit.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Because it's like, if you're going to have your own brand,
you have to go out.
You got to
get a
all
basketball
out,
sign.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this isn't it because these look like track shoes. And I'm not in the mood to run right now.
They look like K-Swiss.
Someone said Skechers plus Steffers. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to spit. My fault. That was so corny, yo. Yeah. But I hope these aren't our shoes, but major props to him, man. Because I think they noticed, like, aside from his Under Armour shoes, he would not rock Under Armour gear. So they saw with the Steph Curry threes that essentially they weren't, making the sales that they projected that it would make. So now they're like, yo, what we can do is we can offer you your own brand and then we can see what happens from there. But, mean, you already signed damn near a Patrick Mahomes deal a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You got Under Armour, and then Under Armour, you got his own brand, is endorsed by a lot of different companies. So, it can only go up from here. So, shout out to Steph. Please don't let these be your first signature shoe under your own brand, under Under Armour, because those shits are washed.
Don't want to see that.
I love what you're doing. Gotta respect the hustle. Another black man getting money. I love it.
All the way to Embiid having his own joint, and they were talking about they look just like Steph's joints.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, they got to do. Come on, Under Armour.
Crazy. So we got 2 more topics. Another shout out, and you can comment on it if you want. Montrezl Harrell, which was the last piece of the puzzle, has finally came back to the bubble. So he only has to quarantine for 3 more days, and he could potentially be available for either the 7th or the 8th game for the Clippers as well too. Well, Montrezl Harrell coming back in the bubble, obviously we already know R.I.P. to his grandmother, his late grandmother who passed away.
Yeah,
that's where he was out of the bubble for such a long time. But he took it to social media to basically say, like, yo, like, it's going to be spooky hours when I get back. Like, I'm motivated than ever before as well, too. Mm-hmm. And even his teammate Lou Williams basically said, like, he's back. He's ready to work. Obviously, Trez is a high-energy guy. He's a guy that plays at a high level, extremely physical player, extremely emotional player. With some things on his mind, I feel sorry for the other guys on the other team as well, too. So with Montrezl Harrell coming back, Trey, how do you feel the Clippers are going to be looking like?
Very strong, probably the strongest in the West, of course, with everything we just talked about. Formidable force. Trez just is that glue guy, of course, and every great team needs that glue guy. I mean, we are given appreciation for Draymond and all the things he does, and Trez being also that guy who might be a little bit more physical than Draymond in a way. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, maybe what do you have, like maybe 1 or 2 games left in the preliminaries, but we'll see them get a chance to get into the rotation. And Clippers are a well-oiled machine, man. Doc Rivers at the helm, and that's all I got for it, man. It's just gonna be scary hours. Honestly, it will be scary hours because they're the team to beat.
Yeah, they're the team to beat. And I just got breaking news. C.J. McCollum has actually been playing with a fracture in his lower back since Thursday.
Oh my God!
Wow, that's crazy. They probably be shooting him up, bruh.
Yeah,
that's wild.
A fracture in your lower back,
bruh.
I couldn't imagine a fracture anywhere.
Yeah, bro. So credit to him.
Scottie
I did
Pippen.
notice that Scottie Pippen, and the playoffs are just now starting. So we'll see how they go, and should be interesting as well too. Last topic I want to talk about today is the New Orleans Pelicans. So I made a little bit of jokes, but I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of true in a sense. The New Orleans Pelicans, from a financial standpoint, the higher ups, the majority, really wanted to see Zion versus LeBron James in the first round. Like they literally gave them the easiest schedule. And I was telling a couple of my friends, they literally gave the Pelicans white privilege. You know what I'm saying? And they still found a way
to mess it up.
Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? They literally had the easiest schedule. Like, we're going down the list.
You know why, though? Because Zion's hurt.
Zion? I mean, yeah, Zion's hurt.
Somehow, some way, I mean, they're not telling us anything, but why wouldn't you play your star player who's 19 years old?
19.
And you're trying to get into the playoffs. There must be a problem we don't know about. He has to be hurt.
Bruh. They had the Kings twice. They had the Spurs. They had the Wizards. They had the Grizzlies, obviously. And, I mean, the only hard teams they had were the Jazz and the Clippers.
You had the playoffs on a silver platter.
On the silver platter. It's crazy. He may be hurt. I don't necessarily think he's hurt. I think they want to tank. I think they want to be.
For who?
I don't know. I think
who?
I don't know. I think they want to be in the lottery. And I think it's that plus
to trade him away and maybe get a bigger player?
I think it's a couple things. I think it's they want to be in the lottery, 1. 2, like you said, he may be hurt, so we don't know what the underlying thing is. 3 is we've never seen a player like this before. So from David Griffin's standpoint, I think he's really just trying to essentially cliche, but trust the process.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to, like you say, he's 19 years old. Like, and we said this last week, this is the healthiest you're ever going to be, more likely. So you might as well just play.
You could break a bone at 19 and it'll pop right back into place.
Yeah,
Promise you.
It's better for you to play and sort of have a small term failure and let that lead into success than to always have those worries and kind of hold you back. So you got to let him off the chains as well too. And another thing is because he can't play, he's never in shape. He can only play in spurts. And also because he can't play, because he's missed that much time, it feels like they really don't have that much chemistry on the court together as well too. Mm-hmm. So those are a lot of things that I think are affecting them as well too. But with the Pelicans, we know what they can be. So hopefully they can only go up from here. I mean, there's rumors that they may fire Alvin Gentry. But honestly,
I think Alvin Gentry's been a great coach for this team.
I think so too. I think they just need better pieces. But looking at this, restarting the bubble, bro, I'm keeping Ingram. I'm keeping Drew. Or you can package Drew and get some assets back. I'm keeping Zion. Yeah. And probably Justin Jackson or Jackson Hayes, whatever his name is.
Zoe got to go.
Everybody got to go.
Zoe got to go.
And I'm cool with that, bro. Everybody got to go.
Zoe got to go.
Everybody got to go. Everybody got to go, man. But, I mean, yeah, that was the episode in a nutshell, man. Any last words you want to say for episode 89?
Shout out to everybody out there. You know, when all this going on, protect your mental health, of course. Take some time for yourself. Always dig within to reach that higher frequency. Open your eyes to see everything that's going on, whether it be physical side or even, spiritual side as well. It's a crazy world we're living in, man. And I just want everybody to be okay. Definitely all our viewers, listeners, everybody like that. And, I already know, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. We won't accept nothing less. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 89 of The Seezus Show. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at The Seezus Show, at Sir Seezus, at TradedXXIV. And on that note, we out.